जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी।
जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी।
यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन।
यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन।
यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन।
यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन।
जमुना तेरा वनचारी।
यमुना तीरा वनचारी।
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी।
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी।
जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी।
जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी।
यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन।
यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन।
जमुना तेरा वनचारी।
यमुना तीरा वनचारी।
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी।
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 जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी।
जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी।
यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन।
यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन।
यमुना तेरा वनचारी।
यमुना तीरा वनचारी।
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी।
जय राधा कुंज बिहारी।
जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य स्तोत्र श्रीमद डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। सामवेद भक्त वृंद की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। गौर प्रमानंदे हरि हरि। ओम नमः भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमः भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमः भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
श्रीमद् भागवतम कैंटो 1 चैप्टर 7 the son of Dronopanish text 27. श्री भगवान वाचा
श्री भगवान
वाच
वेथेदं द्रोणपुत्रस्य
वेथेदं पुत्रस्य
ब्राह्मम् अस्त्रं प्रदर्शितम्।
ब्राह्मणस्त्रं प्रदर्शितम्।
नैवासौ वेद संहारम्
नैवास्तु वेदसंहारम्
प्राणबाधा उपस्थिते।
प्राणबाधोपस्थिते।
श्री भगवान् वाचा
श्री भगवान वाच
वेथेदं द्रोणपुत्रस्य
वेथेदं द्रोणपुत्रस्य
ब्राह्मम् अस्त्रं प्रदर्शितम्।
ब्रह्मम् अस्त्रं प्रदर्शितम्।
नैवासौ वेद संहारम्
नैवासु वेद संहारम्
प्राणबाधोपस्थिते
प्राणबाध उपस्थिते
उपस्थिते
श्री भगवान the
श्री
personality
भगवान
of God
वाच
Vacha Betha just know from me
know from
Idam
me idam is
Drona Putrasya
द्रोणपुत्रस्य
the son of Drona
of son of Drona
Brahma Astram
Brahmam Astram
hymns of Brahma
hymns of Brahma
nuclear weapon
nuclear weapon
Pradarsitam
Pradarsitam
exhibited
exhibited
Na
na
not
not
Eva
eva
even
even
Asau
sau
he
he
Veda
Veda
know it
know it
Samharam
samharam
retraction
retraction
Pranabadhe
pranavadhe
extinction of life
extinction of life
Upasthite
upasthite
being imminent.
being imminent.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, know from me that this is the act of son of Drona. He has thrown the hymns of nuclear energy, Brahmastra, and he does not know how to retract the glare. He has helplessly done this, being afraid of imminent death. Purport. The Brahmastra is similar to modern nuclear weapon manipulated by atomic energy. The atomic energy works wholly on total combustibility, and so the Brahmastra also acts. It creates an intolerable heat similar to atomic radiation. But the difference is that the atomic bomb is a gross type of nuclear weapon, whereas the Brahmastra is a subtle type of weapon produced by chanting of hymns. It is a different science, and in the days gone by, such science was cultivated in the land of Bharatavarsha. The subtle science of chanting hymns is also material, but it has yet to be known by modern material scientists. Subtle material science is not spiritual, but it has a direct relationship with spiritual method, which is still subtler. A chanter of hymns knew how to apply the weapon as well as how to retract it. That was perfect knowledge. But the son of Dronacharya, who made use of this subtle science, did not know how to retract. He applied it, being afraid of his imminent death, and thus the practice was not only improper, but also irreligious. As a son of Brahmana, he should not have made so many mistakes, and for such gross negligence of duty, he was to be punished by the Lord himself. Nama Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurvani Pracharane Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pashyati Deshtarane He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinamandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasade Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So dear devotees, we are discussing conversation between Krishna and Arjuna. Arjuna offered prayer to Krishna when he was being consumed by the Brahmastra glare, and after offering prayer, he asked this question, from where it is coming? Who has released it? Whose work is this? And Krishna is saying, Arjuna, Arjuna, don't worry. This is for sure Dronaputra Aswathama. Being in the imminent danger of death, he has released the Brahmastra but doesn't know how to retract it. And Prabhupada is saying is that earlier our yogis, they knew how to manipulate the energy in a subtle level. We are manipulating energy now in a very gross level. That's called mode of ignorance. Whereas we could manipulate the energy in a subtle level by Vedic hymns. So that means sound was subtler. Now, for example, modern science understands sound speed is 300 some meter per second, but that's the gross sound. That is the sound, Vaikhari sound, that is inferior even to the electromagnetic ray, which speed is 3 into 10 to the power 8 per meter per second. That means we had sound, subtler sound. We have actually now also we have. It's not that it has disappeared. The sound space is there in which the sound can travel faster than the electromagnetic. So forget about mind. Even the sound is faster than the electromagnetic radiation. We don't know this. And we have in sound, we have Vaikhari, Madhyama, Pashyanti, and Para sound. Of course, Para sound is absolutely a different kind of understanding. So this sound, subtle sound, would create a subtle Vedic hymn, and through that, that means you have to produce this sound in a very subtle level, not the gross level, but very subtle level. You have to create this sound, and that sound can manipulate the energy. So that is the point Prabhupada is making in today's. So Prabhupada is saying is that this idea of subtle energy and manipulation of energy, gross energy, via subtle energy, is material, but it can take us towards spiritual, because the spiritual energy is even subtler. So once we understand there are subtle and subtler and subtlest kind of energy, then there is hope that we can make progress in spiritual life. And Krishna is further saying, O Arjuna, only another Brahmastra can counteract this weapon. Since you are expert in the military science, subdue this weapon, clear with the power of your own weapon. So Krishna is advising Arjuna that please counteract this weapon. You are capable of releasing another Brahmastra that can be retracted. First you counteract. So Arjuna would now counteract. For the atomic bombs, there is no counter weapon to neutralize the effect. But for subtle science, the action of a Brahmastra can be contracted. And those who were expert in military science in those days could counteract the Brahmastra. That means a subtler energy can be counteracted by another subtler form of energy, right? So this is the point, something very subtle that can be counteracted by even a subtler, more subtler kind of energy. So this is a science. This is not something, a speculation. So So son of Dronacharya didn't know how to counteract a Brahmastra or retract the Brahmastra, but Arjun knew. Sri Sutta Goswami said, hearing this from personality of Godhead, Arjuna touched water for purification, and after circumambulating Lord Sri Krishna, he cast his Brahmastra weapon to counteract the other one. So this is the distinction between a devotee and a non-devotee. A devotee does things on behalf of Krishna. He knows this manipulation of energy via subtle energy, subtler energy, more subtler energy is all possible by Krishna's arrangement. It is not possible by our own endeavor. Suppose there is no scheme. Suppose enough people have invented energy, electric energy. By Krishna's arrangement, if this electric energy would not have been there, how hard you may try, it would not come out. Electric energy is manifesting because by Krishna's arrangement, this energy is hidden. And when we are given certain intelligence, subtler than the gross intelligence, then we are able to extract electrical energy and bring it for the general uses by the people. When the rays of two Brahmastras combined, a great circle of fire like the disk of the sun covered all the outer space and the whole firmament of the planets. The heat created by the flash of Brahmastra resembles the fire exhibited in the sun globe at the time of cosmic annihilation. See, in cosmic annihilation, there are two kinds of energy acts. One is Samvartaka cloud, the other is Samvartaka fire. Anything Samvartaka means destruction. So Samvartaka fire and Samvartaka cloud. By Samvartaka cloud, everything is inundated with water. And Samvartaka fire, everything can be burned into ashes. The radiation of atomic energy is very insignificant in comparison to the heat produced by a Brahmastra. The atomic bomb explosion can at most blow up one globe, but the heat produced by Brahmastra can destroy the whole cosmic situation. The comparison is therefore made to the heat at the time of annihilation. So Samvartaka fire. All the population of the three worlds are scorched. Three worlds was scorched by the combined heat of the weapons. Everyone was reminded of the Samvartaka fire which takes place at the time of annihilation. Dear devotees, just imagine. When annihilation happens, how you want or you don't want, everything will have to give up their body. Samvartaka fire will annihilate everything, everyone. So those who know how to take shelter of Krishna, they will remember Krishna and will take shelter of the lotus feet, and Krishna will save them. But those who cannot, they will helplessly be annihilated, my dear friend. So, the three worlds are the upper, lower, and intermediate planets of the universe. Although the Brahmastra was released on this earth, the heat produced by the combination of both weapons covered all the universe, and all the population on all different planets began to feel the heat excessively and compared it to that of a Samvartaka fire. No planet, therefore, is without living beings, as less intelligent, materialistic men think. So our worldview would change when we get different information. We got an information that there is a subtler sound energy that can manipulate nuclear energy. right? See, so the worldview would change. So what is that subtle sound? Who would produce that subtle sound? How that can be produced? These are the signs probably beyond our purview now. Thus, seeing the disturbance of general populace and imminent destruction of the planet, Arjuna at once retracted both Brahmastra weapons as the Lord Sri Krishna desired. The theory that modern atomic bomb explosion can annihilate the world is childish imagination. First of all, the atomic energy is not powerful enough to destroy the world. And secondly, ultimately, it all rests on the supreme will of Supreme Lord, because without his will or sanction, nothing can be built up or destroyed. So Prabhupada is making a point here that even if you want to destroy the world cannot be destroyed unless Krishna wants. If Krishna wants and you become his instrument, so be it. It is just like that. Just maybe some days before, the world has seen the Mahabharata battle, and in Mahabharata battle, so many nuclear weapons have been used, and the world has not been destroyed. Rather, the burden of the earth has been reduced, right? So, okay. So it is foolish also to think that natural laws are ultimately powerful. Natural laws are not at all powerful. Krishna's will is powerful. Material nature's law works under the direction of the Lord, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. The Lord says that natural laws work under his supervision. The world can be destroyed only by the will of the Lord, not by the whims of the tiny politicians. Lord Sri Krishna desired that the weapons released by both Droni and Arjuna be withdrawn, and it was carried out by Arjuna at once. Similarly, there are many agents of the all-powerful Lord, and by his will only can one execute what he desires. So somebody wants to, like the Hiranyakya wanted to topple the earth from its orbit, and earth fell onto the Garbhodaka ocean. And that act was allowed by the Lord because the Lord wanted to appear as Varadev and wanted to perform an Herculean task like lifting the earth planet from the Garbhodaka ocean and place it back in her orbit. Otherwise, who is this Hiranyakya? One diarrhea will kill him. How big he may be, a simple diarrhea can kill him. So, if Lord wants certain things to happen, to perform certain special Lila, then he can even use the demons, right, as an instrument. But Lord doesn't want, just like Aswathama wanted to burn the entire. It's not that he wanted to burn. He was a neophyte. He didn't know how to operate the Brahmastra, but he still released the Brahmastra. As a result, the world was in danger. But Krishna wanted that the universe should not suffer because of Aswathama's foolishness. So similarly, many fools are ruling the entire world now, and they may have foolish understanding of how to inflict suffering upon each other. But unless Krishna wants, nothing would happen. Krishna has to sanction that. So as long as devotees go out and spread the message of Krishna consciousness all over the world, I don't think that anything bad is going to happen in this world. Anything that will happen is only good for the world. But are we ready to go out and spread the holy name all over the world? If we will, obviously, Krishna's kindful glance would always embrace this beautiful earth planet. Arjuna, his eyes blazing in anger, like two red balls of copper, dexterously arrested the son of Gautami and bound him with ropes like an animal. To be caught like that is called worse than thousands of deaths. Suppose you are killed, then you are burned, again you are killed mercilessly, you are burned, you are again killed mercilessly, again you are burned, and again you are killed mercilessly. Even if you are killed like this thousands of times, that is not even sufficient. Then the humiliation Asatthama is now going through. He is being caught like an animal by the net of Arjuna. Imagine, no? The fishermen, they catch the fish on the net. You know, the other day I saw, we have net here, and that, normally we put net here because when we grow vegetable, the peacocks, they come and they eat. When the plants are very tender, the bird, they would eat, and then the plant cannot grow further. So there are nets. And once one peacock has fallen to that net, I was shocked. Then I saw our Baba here went and released that peacock. And there are a lot of injury mark. There is cut mark in his neck. And, he was very badly injured. So, similarly, for a Kshatriya to be caught by the net of another Kshatriya is worse than death. And this is exactly has happened to Gautami. That is the Gautami, because Dronacharya is descending from Gautama. Gautama is the Gotra. So they are the descendant of Gautama Rishi. And hence Asatthama has been addressed as Gautami here. And Arjuna was extremely angry. His eyes were like copper red. And he captured Asatthama immediately, like a fisherman catches fish in his net. Wherefore, Asatthama's mother, Krupi, was born in the family of Gautama. The significant point in this sloka is that Asatthama was caught and bound. Up with ropes like an animal. According to Sridhar Swami, Arjuna was obliged to catch the son of Brahmana like an animal as a part of his duty, dharma. The suggestion by Sridhar Swami is also confirmed in the later statement of Sri Krishna. Asatthama was a bona fide son of Dronacharya and Krupi, but because he had degraded himself to a lower status of life, it was proper to treat him as an animal, not as a Brahmana. A Brahmana must be treated as a Brahmana all the time. But unfortunately, Asatthama by killing sleeping sons of Draupadi, has degraded to the stage of lower than Sudra. He is lower than even demons. He deserves severe punishments. And that's exactly Arjuna has done. People may say how, Arjuna, because for a Kshatriya to behead another Kshatriya means that Kshatriya is getting a glorious death. That means to be beheaded by another Kshatriya in the battlefield is a glory. It is not an insult. But to catch the way Arjuna caught Asatthama is worse than thousands of deaths. And this particular act of Arjuna has been supported by our acharyas like Siddhar Swami. Siddhar Swami is the original commentator of Srimad Bhagavatam. So we will read one more purport and then we'll stop because the theme would change immediately after the next verse. So I will just conclude with the verse number 34. After binding Asatthama, Arjuna wanted to take him to the military camp. The personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, looking on his lotus eyes, spoke to angry Arjuna. But Arjuna and Lord Sri Krishna described here in an angry mood. But Arjuna's eyes were like bowls of red copper, but his eyes of Lord were like lotuses. Because Krishna is always in control. His prasanta, why Pacific Ocean? And what is the distinction between Pacific Ocean, Prasantas Mahasagara, and Atlantic Ocean? Atlantic Ocean is always violent, and Prashant Ocean is always peaceful. Why? Because, I have read somewhere, the scientists have found out the Pacific Ocean, the depth is more. Okay. It's very deep. And because it's very deep, it is also peaceful. So main of deep philosophy would be always peaceful. Is it not? Arjuna is of that of deep philosophy. No, he's the man of deep philosophy. But how great philosopher you may be, when situation comes where your children are murdered, or you are robbed, something very nasty that has happened to you, you may lose your cool, just like Arjuna has lost. But for Krishna, nobody is killed. In Krishna, everybody is protected. This so-called killing or not killing is an apparent illusion. The very idea that I'm living in this body is an illusion, because I'm always separate from this body. It may appear I'm one with this body, but I'm always separate from this body. So these are the things that we have to understand philosophically. So Lord was very peaceful, where Arjuna was very angry. This means that an angry mood of Arjuna and that of Lord are not on the same level. Lord is transcendence, thus is absolute in any stage. His anger is not like the anger of a conditioned living being within the modes of material nature. Because his absolute, both his anger and pleasure are the same. When Krishna became angry in Mahabharata battle, in 18 days, 640 crore soldiers were annihilated. If Krishna wants now also, all those papis, sinful idiots, can be destroyed in no time. His anger is not exhibited in three modes of material nature. It is only the sign of his bent of mind towards the cause of his devotee, because that is his transcendental nature. Therefore, even if he is angry, the object of anger is blessed, is unchanged in all the circumstances. So, dear devotees, when Hiranyakasipu was torturing Prahlad Maharaj, that was making Lord angrier, until a melting point came. And Lord personally came out of the pillar to annihilate Hiranyakashipu for good. Enough is enough. When Lord becomes angry, that is good for both the demons and the devotees. Devotees feel the protection of the Lord, but the demons, they get purified. They get another chance to rehabilitate themselves in Krishna consciousness. So we should not be frightened by Krishna's anger. In the sense, Krishna is very angry. All of you don't know this. Millions of cows are being butchered every day. The path of dharma is being violated in every possible manner. Is it not Krishna angry? So when pandemic kind of things come, it is just simply manifestation of his anger. Krishna's anger can manifest in any way. And we are forced to accept the repercussion of his anger. We have to recognize this, dear devotees. So, thank you very much for joining in this Bhagavatam class. Any question you have? So, let me summarize what we did today. We started with the point, Prabhupada made a very significant point that Asatthama was not able to retract the nuclear weapon, and Krishna told Arjuna that you retract it. You counteract this nuclear weapon with your nuclear weapon and then retract it. So there, Prabhupada said that the current nuclear energy is a grosser manipulation of material energy, whereas Arjuna was expert in manipulating nuclear energy using subtle sound vibration. So that point we started, and then we saw that how Arjuna's release of Brahmastra created a Samvartaka fire in the outer space, and then it appeared that all the three planetary systems are going to be vanquished in no time. And then Arjuna retracted those two fiery weapons, but simultaneously Arjuna captured Asatthama like a heinous criminal. And he is criminal, although he's a Gautami. Gautami means he belongs to Gautama dynasty, but unfortunately he degraded himself and he deserved the punishment that Arjuna has given him, catching him in a net. He's bound by a rope, like an animal. You put an animal like a monkey inside a net. You see what will happen to monkey. Have you seen a monkey within a net? So this is very painful for a Kshatriya to be caught like that. And we ended with the words that Krishna was very peaceful and Arjuna was very agitated. Arjuna's eyes were copper red and Krishna's eyes were soothing as lotus flower. And Prabhupada is saying it doesn't matter Krishna is angry or Krishna is peaceful, both are absolute. That point he made because Krishna is always transcendental. So that's where we stopped. Thank you very much for listening. Let's see questions. Hare Krishna, sir, I heard that if anyone starts devotional service, so he gets delivered from this material world. He gets delivered material world. 21 ancestors also get delivered, even after they do not love Krishna, but Krishna do not force somebody to go to Goloka Vrindavan. So where do our ancestors go? No, they are liberated from sin. They are liberated from the sin, Manisati. They are liberated from the sin. They are given a chance to perform devotional service. We are not able to perform devotional service because of sinful urge within our heart, sinful impression within our mind. So when Krishna liberates our forefathers are liberated from all kinds of sin and they are given another opportunity to perform devotional service. Next. Hare Krishna, sir, how this Samvartaka cloud generates? Indra sends Samvartaka cloud. You read the Govardhan Lila of Krishna, where Indra's sacrifice was stopped, and instead Govardhan was fed all the items, and then how Indra sent the Samvartaka cloud to teach a lesson to Brajvasis. Okay. Next. Hare Krishna. Shiranjit, during Mahabharata, does the power of nuclear reduced during Mahabharata war that cosmic destruction didn't take place? Nuclear reduced. What is the question? Power of nuclear reduced.
Nuclear weapons, like in the
No. They are not reduced. They were used, but they were used by people who knew how to operate them properly by subtle energy. So it were used, but they were not meant to destroy the world. Whereas Ashottama released the Brahmastra to destroy the universe. So that is why Ashottama deserved punishment. In Mahabharata, whoever used nuclear weapon, they knew how to retract it. Next. Venkat Ratna, mind has accumulated impression from millions of lifetimes. If then how did Bhishma manage to become Mahajan in one life and steal cows in the earlier life? How is the previous life consciousness affected him in this life? No, Bhishma is a Mahajan always. Sometimes we make silly mistake. Bhishma is one of the 8 Vasus, and they are principal demigods among 33 principal demigods. So suddenly, he is not an ordinary person. So the stealing of the cow is just a Lila such that Bhishma Dev can come and participate in Mahabharata. Without Bhishmadev, there would not have been Mahabharata. Right? So one of the Basus has to descend. They have to make some mistake. In this world, we commit mistake either by arrangement of our false ego or our sinful attitude, or by the arrangement of laws of material nature under the guidance of Krishna. Next. Arjuna neutralized Brahmastra or withdrew both Brahmastra. I'm a little confused. He withdrew. Neutralize means withdrawing. Okay. Neutralize means you have released some energy, and see, it is a very subtle energy. You will not be able to understand it. Like when Aswathama would release again. You see, now Aswathama has been caught like an animal by Arjuna, and we'll see tomorrow how he'll be released by Arjuna in a very humiliating situation, and still Aswathama would not change. Still, his criminal mentality would not be neutralized, and he would release again the nuclear weapon to kill the womb of Mother Uttara. So this part we'll discuss later. But you try to understand that releasing energy and withdrawing energy, they are done by subtle energy. Okay? So this is a science that that requires even proper intelligence to digest or internalize. Even I am not capable of understanding it, how that happens. Next. Chahatu prati. Anger is told to be one of the gates of hell, but is there something like righteous anger too, like that of Arjuna during the battle? Yeah, during the battle, Arjuna, without anger, how can you battle? You must be angry. Arjuna must feel that he and his brothers have been done a great injustice, or great injustice has been done to them. If he doesn't feel that, he cannot fight in the battle. So, but the situation now, Arjuna becoming red hot, his eyes becoming red hot, like red hot copper, it's not because of battle. It's because he's suffering. He's suffering because his wife has lost 5 children. His wife has lost 5 children. That is why he's angry. Next. Amrit Panda, living entity transmigrates into 84 lakh different species of material bodies in different planetary universe. If you see the division of this number, it does not include demigod, demoniac bodies, but including all beasts, vegetable, insect, aquatics, reptiles, humans. Why have demigods, demoniac bodies been excluded from the list? No, they are there. 4 lakh varieties of human being, what does it mean? They include everyone. They include human being in earthly planet, human being demigod planet, human being in Rakshasa planet, human being in Vidyadhara planet, human being in Charana planet. They also include animals, aquatics in different planets. Okay, so they include all 3 planetary systems. Thank you very much. Pancha kalpatarvesya kripa sindhuvevaccha patitanang pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Sri Sri Lakshmi Narasimha Bhagwan ki jai. Srila Giriraj Krishna ki jai. Sri Sri Radha Raman Ji ki jai. Gaur Pramanande Hari.